are a lot of hard feelings right now, both about the TA, about the leadership, just the overall toughness of the job. But the best way is to channel that into collective action with your siblings on the job.
Are you on? Which side are you on?
And while we're talking about the Postal Service, I wanted to address some, like, a kind of train of thought that I have been seeing from people who are disgruntled with the direction of their union, and that being, you know, there are some that are saying, I'm just gonna resign my membership. I'm not gonna be part of the union. I'm gonna stop paying my dues. It's a waste of money. Blah blah blah. And then there are others that are talking about decertifying the NALC and maybe trying to unionize instead with the Teamsters or something like that. And I want to say, you know, rightly or wrongly, there is, among some people at least, frustration with the way that the union is going. Whether that frustration is right or wrong, you know, I'll leave other people to be the judge of that. But I will say emphatically that the intuition, and I think there was somebody, one of the, you know, I was talking to Greg Kerwood earlier in the show and talked about how the letter carriers and the UPS drivers, there's this like really rich online kind of media ecosystem, like self-contained. And so one of the channels that I've seen for the letter carriers is Melman Syed, and he had a video about like we want to decertify the NALC and we want to unionize, we want to organize with the Teamsters. And it's like, I can understand, I can kind of get myself in the headspace why you would think that way, but I just want to push back and say emphatically that is a bad intuition. That you should not do that. You should not, particular and unambiguously, like there's no room for debate here, you should not resign from the union. You should not stop paying your dues. For one, you won't be able to vote on the tentative agreement. If you resign from the union, you don't get a say in what the union does. So like just self-interestedly, you should want to have a say over what your union does. You should want to have a say over how your union interfaces with the Postal Service. If you are not a member, you do not get a say. You don't have a right to a say if you are not a member. Additionally, if you are not a member, you cannot be part of the solution. If there really is a problem in the NALC, walking back and walking away, hiding in the bushes is not going to fix the problem. All you are doing is leaving the organization to the control of people that you have a problem with the way that they are controlling the organization, right? And also, the NALC has one member, one vote. Like the only reason that the Teamsters look interesting to some letter carriers as an option right now, you know, as a result of, is the result of the Teamsters for a Democratic Union, the election of Sean O'Brien, the more militant posture. I know that there are some people that say it's just a posture, but nevertheless, that is kind of the public perception of the Teamsters right now. The only reason that there's an interest there is because of rank and file organizing to reform the union and make it more militant and democratic for the past decades, several decades, right? And you have the same tools. It's not as if you're in a union where you don't have one member, one vote, and you have this delegate system, and it's all convoluted. And even then, you can still reform your union, but it's much more difficult, right? You've got one member, one vote. You can elect a president that you want. And so do that. Be a part of a movement to make your union better. It's like lazy, you know, frankly, looking at, I want to look at the kind of culmination of 30 years of work, and I don't want to do the work. I just want to have that now. And so I'm going to put my ball down and leave the NALC and affiliate with the Teamsters because I like the way that they look now. Well, guess what? You know, in 10 years, maybe the Teamsters doesn't look so good anymore. And what are you going to do then? Are you going to drop that ball and then restart the NALC? Right? That's not the way that it works. That's not the way to behave in democratic organizations like unions. And so I just wanted to push back on that kind of thinking, while recognizing that there are people out there that have reason to be disgruntled, but you need to funnel that energy into a positive outlet, and decertifying your union or resigning is not a positive outlet. It's not going to result in anything good.
Hey, 5 seconds, just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
Well, Jacob, I was going to say, I agree with your broader point there. You have to channel frustration into something productive and positive. Absolutely. I will say there are probably specific cases where unions are competing for the same workforce, and there may be a better choice than another one, right? That is possible. This is not the case. As far as I know, the Teamsters, that's not a very practical option, it doesn't seem like. And I think you would be, whatever your frustrations with your current institution, you're just entering a new institution where you're going to have new frustrations, or perhaps some of the same frustrations. I don't see it as a very practical solution. I totally understand the frustration. I understand the instinct, because it's a pretty common reaction. But
it's a common
There's more
reaction
positive.
because we live in a society that tries to get us to conceptualize of our problems individually, right?
As an individual consumer choice, right?
Exactly. If you don't like Pepsi, go get Coke or go get root beer. If you don't like the NALC, go just pick up the Teamsters. As an individually make the choice to be a part of a better organization, instead of jumping in and getting your hands dirty and doing the work of building a better organization.
Right. Yeah, but I just wanted to add that caveat that there are probably some cases where, maybe you do need to ditch one union for another one. I see where that could be possible, but it's not. Yeah, it's not the standard, right? It's not. So I appreciate you bringing that out, because there are a lot of hard feelings right now, both about the TA, about the leadership, and the general direction of the union, and also amid the decline in working conditions and just the overall toughness of the job, right? And so I can see how all that factors together to build that kind of frustration. But you're exactly right. The best way to do that is to channel that into collective organizing and collective action with your siblings on the job.
Right. We have a caller on the line, caller from a 715 area code. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name's Harley. I'm from the Midwest.
Harley from the Midwest. What's on your mind?
Yeah, you got me thinking when you mentioned Mailman Saeed. I do listen to his content and talk with him a few times too. And I remember coming across that video where you mentioned he wants to just lead the union or reorganize it. And I thought that was kind of funny too. I remember one time I was looking into like how to not pay my dues anymore and leave, because I was frustrated at one time too. And I remember calling them and saying, "Hey, how do I not pay dues and get out?" And they're like, "Well, why would you want to do that?" They were like retaliating against me a little bit. And they're like, "Well, management could just own your routes, and then you got to abide by their rules."
Right.
So I don't recommend that path at all. It's just interesting you mentioned that. I think he's just saying it just out of a frustration of what the union's doing. He comes off to me as a bit younger in the union and hopeful world, like still relatively newish, a little bit hyped on the tentative contract. I remember hearing this is his first contract he'll be voting in, so or was in the post office with this one, so it does come off as newish. So I was in a recent union meeting with the NALC, and they're kind of estimating around February 14th we should have the results. As long as there's not another delay. I don't think there will be, but That's what it kind of seems like. And they did mention the percent of who is going to vote. And this is coming from a branch president where I live. So on the Zoom call, he's estimating about a 33% return in terms of ballots. He says it's usually around 18% of the NALC union members. So we're talking about really low numbers here for who actually vote.
Wow.
Yeah, but he does expect an uptick due to all the rhetoric online, because now we're more in a digital space, so we can get like more activism, I'd say.
Right. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, is that what was on your mind, Harley?
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of sparked my intuition to call once I heard my old man Saeed. I had to.
There you go.
Just kind of felt like adding on to that.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate it.
And yeah, we'll see how this vote goes out.
Yeah, looking
All right,
forward to the results. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.